bonus episodes don't get edited. So I'm going to end up leaving that.
If you don't edit it, that's going to be left in.
Yep.
So I'm glad you reminded me. So we saved all the really horrible stuff for a regular episode.
What horrible stuff that happened?
No. Oh, God. No.
All of today's horrible stuff.
Everything
that
has been
happened?
horrible today.
Fuck
no.
hey.
Hello, Slurmcast fans. We are back at you with another bonus episode. Is this filler, Michelle?
No, never.
It's never filler. It's we've had a pretty ridiculous scheduling sort of thing going on lately. So we're trying to keep your feed full, even
because
if it's
no one's
not
buying
canon
T-shirts
episodes.
and we're not making money.
Well, that's true. I got to go out and sell unlicensed ponies on the road. So it's actually timed out well, though, because within the last few weeks, there was an audio-only original episode of Futurama called Radiorama, produced with the entire original cast, released as a podcast on the Nerdist as a special episode, and it's once again a tie-in as a shitty commercial for Worlds of Tomorrow.
We are now once removed from Futurama.
How so?
We were mentioned on the Nerdist, and now there was an actual episode of Futurama on the Nerdist.
Yes.
So Chris
That's
Hardwick
one step.
is one.
I have
One
often
degree.
maintained that the patron saints of this particular podcast operation are Chris Hardwick, Doug Benson, and Ramon Rivas II.
And Gene and Chuck.
Well, Gene and Chuck are like the wizards behind the curtain. But Chris Hardwick first read former guest Louis Burns's gushing letter about us doing this on Nerdist, which was a huge help. Then Doug Benson mentioned us when I went to see Doug Loves Movies and got to select a name for Last Man Stanton. And the reason I went to that Doug Loves Movies show is because Ramon Rivas said, no, you should go to Doug Loves Movies when I had the opportunity to. And I did, because I could have gone to another show that same night. And here we are with our listeners rapidly dwindling until the show hits Hulu, which is apparently going to happen again.
Should happen. They David X. Cohen was on Nerdist, I think last week, was it? Or maybe 2 weeks ago. And he said that it's going to be on Hulu. Like he confirmed that it's on its way to Hulu, and that's why it was taken off of Netflix. Like he just flat out says it.
Why could it take so long?
I don't know why it's taking them so long to put it up, but that's not normal. So I wonder if there's like music rights they have to get, or
They have to redraw
something.
every single.
That's it.
Is it like if you
Explains
record a
everything.
song and then the record contract says we own the master recordings of this song, but if you re-record the song, even if you do it exactly the same, then you can like regain rights to the song?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so they're just redrawing all of it.
He explained that I guess Fox owns part of Hulu.
Oh.
So that's why they pulled it from Netflix and are going to put it on Hulu. So I'm not sure what that's all about.
You know what is weird too? Like like they only have the stuff that aired on Comedy Central on Netflix right now. But on Comedy Central, they air ones from earlier seasons all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'll have it on when I work at when I'm bartending, and it's like an episode that we had just done or something
So like an
that.
early season?
Yeah, it's
streaming and broadcast rights is a whole different thing. I don't know. It gets very complicated. But, we don't have to deal with any of that because everything we do is
what
unlicensed.
did
and
come to
barely
Hulu
legal.
recently?
What?
Family Matters.
I haven't gotten into that yet.
And
They
Full
also-
House is on
Full
there.
House is on there. They've got Will and Grace is on there now, every episode.
How much free time do you guys have to rewatch shows that weren't all
No,
that good in
they're
the first
things you
place?
just put on when you're like falling asleep.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
See,
I was also
Yeah.
sick last week, so I had like
With
a day
what?
and a half off work. I had a really bad migraine and like one of those like barfing in the sink type migraines.
Oh, yeah, I've had those.
Where you stand up and you can't continue to stand up with the blurry auras and all that.
the ones when you go blind.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's what happened to me for about 3 days. I was
what do you do to fix those?
no
Drugs.
sound. Yeah, no sound, no light, or limited sound and light.
Have you tried to do anything? Like, have you gone to like a specialist?
No, I don't think it's frequent enough. It's like maybe once or twice a year that happens to me. So it's not like it's a continuing problem.
But even if it does,
just last weekend, I just
Maybe it's a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's I would recommend. Here's medical advice from a podcast host. Take it.
It can't be worse than Zachariah saying that he picks his teeth with X-Acto blades.
We're
Let me
doing well.
Wikipedia that or WebMD that.
When I used to get migraines like that, it was only a couple times a year. I was still able to get a prescription, and actually, I got a bunch of free samples from my doctor because it was in it, like not a recurring thing. And the stuff that he gave me, if you caught it early enough, it might knock you out, but it would fix the problem. So we can talk off mic about brands and things. It's probably like illegal
Drugs.
now or something. But this was an interesting Futurama. Do we have to say like episode in quotes, or does this seems like non-canon? Maybe it is.
No,
Does
no,
it
it's the
matter?
original cast. It's canon.
Okay.
It's canon.
With the way the series ended, does it matter whether it's
I don't know. Don't spoil it.
I always forget that you don't remember the show.
I think we are safely past the point where I would have ever watched it before.
Yeah. You probably have never seen.
I would have checked out by like season 3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very nervous because of how much visual gag stuff there is in Futurama that it makes that show really good. So I'm like, you're taking away the video. Although I like that the caption was that
The opening joke was the show that just won't die, but it's so sick it lost its video.
I actually, you know what? I have a comment from before that, just quickly, and I don't mean to derail it. After especially praising all the help that Chris Hardwick gave us, but the early part of the episode where he does the introduction and then basically comes off like, so just follow your dreams, kids, because anything can happen. It's like, well, you were already super famous and created this media empire, which gave you the leverage to do this, and you're also, married into the Hearst family. All of those are wonderful things. It doesn't say that there's anything bad about you, but it's like maybe your expectations need to be scaled back if you're just, a Joe Schmo.
He's quickly becoming less everyday nerd. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's starting probably actually quickly. Did I say quickly? He's quickly becoming of what he's attained right now. I mean, he's on network television. He's on all this stuff. So when he says things like that, it's like, yeah, but you were hosting game shows when 25 years ago,
and to be fair, it had a lull, and I cannot say enough. I admire him very much. His work ethic and his seemingly boundless positivity.
Him and Tom Bergeron
is amazing.
Honestly,
yeah,
Tom Bergeron he works hard.
Yeah.
You just like him because his name is Tom.
What's the other guy's name? Seacrest. Same deal. Maybe his stuff isn't as of nice a caliber, but I think the guy just works really hard and he makes a lot of really smart decisions despite looking like just a plastic mannequin man.
That's true.
But so there is
I'm not knocking on Chris Hardwick whatsoever.
Chris Hardwick, if you're listening, we love you. Come on the show.
Yes. Because I do feel that way. Looking at Chris Hardwick, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can be myself, and as long as I don't become an alcoholic.
Yeah. Or any number of other things. I mean, it's just, I guess it's the thought that counts. Like that's sure, stay positive if you abstract it out enough and just like kind of work your thing into what you want to be, the change you want to see in the world, I guess is what it really comes down to. But at the same time, I think there is, like you were saying, Tom, like just an increasingly big disconnect between him seeming like I feel like 5 years ago, if I had gone to a comedy show in LA and run into him, he still would have just been like real nice, whatever. And if you run into him now, it'd be the same thing, but it'll just be like, he just spread so thin. Yeah. So there's just that seemingly increasingly disconnected piece of it.
Like even Will Wheaton, Chris Hardwick and Will Wheaton were roommates in college.
Yeah.
They were and still are like best buds. And Will Wheaton on his Radio Free Burrito podcast even says that like he and his wife went to hang out with Chris Hardwick and Lydia Hearst, and they got to the gate, and I guess they'd forgotten to tell the security guards at Chris Hardwick's gate that Will Wheaton was coming over, and the security guard didn't even know who Will Wheaton was, and Will was saying like how depressed he was.
Wesley Crusher. I'm
Wesley
Crusher, Mr. Guard. That's bizarre. Like,
yeah.
And I mean, like, I get it. Like, there's just a point where you sort of ascend into that status, but just it seems a little disingenuous, or maybe a little like we don't have to keep shitting on him. I don't mean to.
No.
I just that one particular thing on this. Otherwise, I feel relatively great thing. Just kind of rubbed me a wrong way a little bit.
The podcast?
Yeah. I was already in a bad mood because I listened to it the first time when I was supposed to be flying to Chicago and ended up having to drive last minute. It's a little grumpy, but it did make that first 45 minutes fly by.
You got all the way to Toledo.
Almost.
I don't really want to like go through this like we go through a normal episode, because I was thinking about this, and we would be doing a podcast about a podcast that was featured on a podcast.
In which
and
one of the lines
like,
was, "We interrupt this podcast to bring you a podcast."
Exactly.
I took a lot of notes, though, Tom. He's just like scrolling.
All right, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
We don't have
notes.
to get that deep.
No, we don't need to get that deep. Overall, like... I'm trying to, like, remember exactly the... Somebody summarize the episode for me that remembers, because I'm trying to... Because I didn't listen to it since a couple weeks ago.
Well, they basically took... Was it old-timey radio?
Yeah, so the basic plot is that Calculon is dead, but they recovered his voice box, and Bender is contacted to reprise his role as Antonio Calculon Jr. because they're making an episode of All My Circuits, but they're making it a podcast instead of an episode of
because they
All
just
My
have
Circuits.
Calculon's voice.
Yes, but like all actors, you don't need to have a brain attached to the voice to get the same results or something like that. So but there was so that was sort of the B plot, that involved Bender trying to reconnect and impress his mother, who was dying. Fry created
that bothered me.
The mother part?
Bender's and his mother, because the thing has not been like used or done anything except in the game recently.
Well, right.
And
so that's probably why it was fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, I
think they put it in the game because of the podcast.
Is the
episode.
Borax stuff, does that happen in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
The Borax kid
Borax
is in the
kid.
show.
That was also a terrible other thing that was like anybody they could have used, but
And they had him as a limited time character that you could unlock in the game, but like you had to spend money if you wanted to unlock him. It was fucking impossible.
I just lost Bill Nye.
I was so close.
So close.
I was gonna wait until we were on mic to finally admit I spent $1.99 so that I could unlock Bill Nye,
Okay,
because
you got
I was like one bow tie, one.
I was one fake degree away.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I was one fake degree away from unlocking Bill Nye, and I got the little notification that was like, "You have until 3 p.m. Pacific time." And I looked at the clock, and it was like 5 p.m. our time, and I was like, "Shit, I got an hour. I got to spend $2." So I spent $1.99 on some pizza and unlocked him because I was not gonna let Bill Nye go. It was weeks of work.
So that was the B plot, was the All My Circuits thing. The A plot was Fry made a digital 3D erotic sculpture of himself for Leela, forgetting that Leela can't see in 3D because she only has one eye. And she made him get rid of it, so he went to throw his digital trash out, and the professor said, "No, you have to take it to the digital trash planet, Junkleon 7. And when they went to Junkleon 7, Bender wanted to steal stuff, so he grabbed this thing. The thing that he grabbed ended up being a podcast containment device that had 58 billion podcasts from our time.
That joke I liked about
that had all been compressed, and it had become sentient and it was a sound-based creature called Klaxon, played by Chris Hardwick. And so the other half of it is Bender trying to do the All My Circuits thing, and then the crew trying to contain and
That's right. Yeah.
defeat Klaxon.
What did you think of Klaxon?
It was fine. I mean, there have been dumber villains on the show. You know what I mean?
I like the effect that they used.
Yeah, it was Chris Hardwick doing like 3 different voices overlaid.
once.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool. I liked it.
And then when it mixed with the mother at the
Yeah.
end, it was even weirder.
I mean, the sound design on the actual podcast, it was really cool. Like, I used to listen to a lot of like old-timey radio shows. Like that's, when I was like a little kid, that's what I'd listen to growing up, would be like these tapes of old Sherlock Holmes broadcasts or whatever.
David Tennant is still doing Doctor Who radio episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
like-
does a lot of voice work.
Yeah. But I mean, just like that's popular enough that there's
Yeah.
still like I enjoyed it for that reason too. Like I think that should come back. We should start doing one of those. We should make it like an old time radio show.
Well, there have been, I mean, there certainly are podcasts now that are like dramatized, serialized dramas. There was one, I don't even know how I came across this one. And this is probably about 10 years ago. It was called The Failed Cities Monologues. And it was like this 25-part dystopian story. It was really good. And each episode would be a different character. And some of them were like 40 minutes long. Some were like 10 minutes long. They were all different, but it was like, basically we had a novel that told things from a bunch of different points of view. They'd do that. Like, it's interesting. It's just, it's so hard to commit. And then when things like that get spaced out over time, like week by week by week or whatever, like, I can't keep up. That's the one thing I like about the regular podcasts I listen to, is that they are these finite chunks that you could just like, if I don't get to it, it's not like if I don't listen to the WTF today, it's not going to matter if I listen to next week's one first. Whereas the serialization, then it piles up, and then you feel obligated, and then
I follow a lot of serialized podcasts, actually. Like, I've probably got I listen to a lot of podcasts. Probably have like 10 or so that are serialized.
like serial or like fictional.
Like fictional stories that are
Okay.
written and acted out. One of the best ones that I was listening to, I think the second chapter just came out. It's on Gimlet. Or second part. It's multiple chapters. It's got like Catherine Keener, David Schwimmer, Amy Sedaris is on it.
Really?
Michael Cera did a voice.
The Schwimm's
Yeah,
on it?
he's like one
What
of the
about
main.
Marcel?
One of the main dudes. No, the monkey is not on.
Bullshit.
Not on the podcast.
I don't think that monkey's alive anymore.
No, it can't be.
He died in a unexplained accident.
Same monkey as the one in Outbreak.
Really?
Really? So it's called Homecoming.
Okay.
And it's basically Catherine Keener is a therapist who is treating these soldiers returning from, I guess you're to assume, like Iraq and Afghanistan.
Sure.
I think they mention it a few times. And David Schwimmer is her boss. And there's parts of it that are like really funny, but it's a drama. But it's good. I recommend that one if you're into cool stuff like that.
I don't listen to any podcasts. I feel terrible, but
you don't even
I
listen
just
to
don't.
this one.
I don't. And you know what I listen to? The radio, and I hear like the same 8 songs over and over again.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
No. I listen to a different
Welcome
radio
to the
station.
Jungle.
No, that I listen to a totally different
Just What I
radio
Needed by
station.
the Cars. Don't Let Me Down
No.
By ELO.
No, this is Imagine Dragons.
I was just going to say that I worked at a clothing boutique for a while between jobs and as a second job, and I had to listen to Sirius Radio, and everyone kept saying, like, Sirius Radio, it's different, it's better than regular radio. Nope, it's the same fucking Imagine Dragons song over and over again, and Elle King, that X's and O's song, all day,
Yep.
every day. It's just as bad as regular
then for
ass
some
radio, but
reason-
you're paying for it.
Like Nirvana, a lot of Nirvana, and then the new Weezer song, which
because
is
Nirvana is
horrible.
classic rock.
God, Weezer is so bad now. I used to love Weezer. What
we're getting way
happened?
off topic.
Yeah.
We really are.
Still,
So,
we're a podcast. We can do that.
yeah, one of the fun things that I liked about it was they made a lot of meta references about the show being resurrected. Like even the misdirect at the beginning where the professor comes in, he's like, "Good news, everyone," and then he's like, "Your favorite show is coming back as in podcast form," and they're like, "What show are we talking about?" And and then it turned into All My Circuits and stuff. But even the things where they would do just like the oh my God, why can't I think of the word? Oh God, no, it's the dramatic device where oh God, where you just explain something. Like
a Deus Ex Machina. Kind
no,
of thing,
no.
or-
Like
exposition.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm thinking of. Right. Where it's just they're just like, everyone's here. Hi, Amy. Or what about Zoidberg? Why not? And like everyone
And
just kind of
Zoidberg,
piles in to
why
get the
not?
voices in.
That's exactly why I shut off the first episode of Fuller House. Because that was that exact same thing when like the first opening.
It wasn't the
There was,
fact
like-
that it was just horrible garbage. and
I
you're
didn't even
gonna
get
die
there.
someday.
Like the first like
Couldn't even get to
five-
the garbage.
The first 5 minutes was that introduction, like, oh, here's him and this person and Uncle Jesse and I was just like, and they all did their catchphrases.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. No. I don't. Oh yeah, that was hers. Hold on. Damn. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Oh, did you finish it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch the second season?
Oh, there are 3 seasons
Oh.
now, and
What?
you can watch the 3rd season in about 3 hours. It's like so short. I didn't want to watch it, but it was there. And that was one of the things I watched when I was home, like unable to really move around.
Every episode we do, you make me question the decision to ask you to become a
I didn't say I liked it.
I've never had a McDonald's hamburger ever. I watched all 3 seasons of Fuller House. It's just like you've got enough pros in the pro column. You're like, she's probably okay. But then there's these like red flags. that
I'm
pop
bringing a
out.
different perspective.
You absolutely are. But God, I just
I didn't say it was good. I didn't say I liked it.
But clearly my own perspectives are not wonderful either. But I was young enough. I guess I was old enough when that stuff was on to have watched it and kind of just passively enjoyed it as like a kid.
Well, you see, my name is Michelle. That character's name is Michelle Tanner. So when I was little, imagine me being like a little 5-year-old kid wanting to watch the Michelle Show because that's what I called it. So
okay.
that has strong emotional ties
With
for
all
me
of
with
her,
Full
and then
House.
they couldn't even get it together to come back on. It's like one of the few Olsen twins decisions I can get.
That's why you're always saying you got it, dude.
Yeah, right? You got it, dude.
You do a lot of thumbs up pictures.
That is a completely separate thing.
So the stuff, like, again, going back to the old timey radio things, like where Scruffy it's downstairs on this grease staircase, and then they all slide down. There's a lot of banging noises.
Grease in the stars.
Yeah, just the little Scruffy bits were good. That was one of my favorite exchanges. And it was late in the episode when they were trying to find Klaxon when he went underground, and like the professor's explaining it to Scruffy, and Scruffy's asking questions like, "What? He's a what?" And he's like, "Very astute question, Scruffy. You're much smarter than I thought you were." But then he one of his other ones, he called somebody a Claudinoramus, which is great. Yeah, there were really good lines like sprinkled throughout, like that aspect of it. The thing about the regrets, where I think Bender goes, "Do you know how many regrets I have?" Or something. He's like, "I only have 1 regret," and Leela's like, "I have 5," and Bender's like, "That's too many."
I do like at pretty close to the beginning when Fry goes, "Psst, hey Leela," and she just goes, "Yeah," like, as loud as possible.
So where does Borax come into the rest of the series? Because
There's an episode that's in the new, like the after canceled
the movies,
where it's like a gender episode, a gender issue episode, and he's in it.
Both the Borax,
And then he's,
kid
I think,
and
in
Sherman
another
Grau.
part too. I think he's in another scene or something somewhere. But
In a later,
yeah,
he's in a later episode, I think. Can't remember which one.
This is the stuff where like Zoidberg getting beaten by banjos and pianos getting thrown at Fry.
Just so they could use those clips.
Yeah.
Sound effect clips.
And then like mid episode, they did another one of those introducing everybody things where they go to the recording studio and Bender brings Bubblegum Tate, Randy, Roberto, and Fat Bot. It's like the 2
He
seconds
gave
of the
his
voices.
dying mom's ticket to
Fat Bot.
Fat Bot.
And they gives him a sandwich. He's like, ooh, ooh.
So they obviously put this together like they recorded a normal like episode.
Yeah.
Only they just put it no video.
Right.
Because I was thinking of them like sitting around a table like we are right
Just
now
like
and
table
just like
reading?
going back and forth between it. But
David X. Cohen said that that was kind of they made the game, and then was it Tiny Co. got bought out by some other company, Jam
City or something.
Yeah,
City,
Jam
yeah.
City, and they wanted some way to promote the game, and they asked if they could make a whole new episode, and he was like, well, we can write an episode and we can record an episode really fast, but then it'd take like a year to animate it. It would take forever to animate an episode just to promote a game that's free. So he, I guess, remembered that Chris Hardwick had brought it up at some point and said, hey, you guys should do a podcast episode. And then he was like, I know what we'll do. We'll just we'll write an episode like it's going to be animated. We'll record it like it's going to be animated, and then we won't animate it.
Awesome.
And that was basically their whole plan, which reminds me when we did our bonus episode on the game, I was saying, what was their end game? What are they planning to do with this? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they'll do other ones because it does seem like everybody kind of enjoys it, but if they, I mean, this one just hits everybody. There's Morbo and Linda,
and real quick, if you have not listened to this, pause this podcast, go listen to it, and then come back to it.
yeah, it's way better than anything you're gonna get off of our RSS feed. They did some nice Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Shitting on, which was as part of a borax commercial, but the flake that sterilized Lake
Boraxon.
Erie. If you're like me, you never much liked Lake Erie anyway. I ought to give him a medal instead of being tried for war crimes.
How did they describe it about the flakes or whatever? There was something.
Borax flakes.
Yeah, but
Because not everyone needs the best.
Yeah, there's
Second class
Chairman Grouse and Glacknock's borax flakes. So there was billions of podcasts that got compressed into it. Nixon and Zapp drop in for a second to make an escape to a planet where there may be as many as 11 women per man. What else is there? all the things that Hermes has thrown out: incriminating spreadsheets, Fry's opera, and Zoidberg's harassment claims.
we haven't got to Fry's Opera yet.
No, is that a thing?
Yeah.
That's a real episode? Does that come into play with the holophone
It's
or
this
something?
season. It's the final episode of this season, yes.
Is it good or bad?
It has the devil robot in
you
it,
don't
so I
like
hate it.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, what else? I mean, the rest, a lot of it is just notes.
The
about-
robot with no name was a new character.
Was it?
Yeah, it's never been.
That's what I was
like I was
remembering.
trying to picture what it reminded me of. The voice was of the wrestler from the Gender Bender
Yeah.
episode, but that had a name or whatever that I don't remember what.
I thought I wrote it down. Hedonism Bot shows up too, but they don't.
Yes.
It doesn't. They don't announce him or anything. He just says he wants to make. Leela gets Fry's statue, his erotic statue, back. She mounts it over the Planet Express door, and then Hedonism Bot's voice just chimes in saying, "I want to make a replica out of the finest chocolates." Which I still haven't even seen Hedonism Bot in the show yet, so I don't
my
get it. I just
God.
know him from the game.
Oh, wow. Hedonism Bot is great.
Oh, I'm not even there yet.
Really?
You
I'm
haven't
right now
gotten
trying to get
Hedonism
Earl.
Bot? Oh, my
Okay,
God.
so all right, so this all winds up. They defeat Klaxon. They put him inside a diamondite walnut shell, but a little bit of him escapes. He combines with Bender's mother, resurrecting her, but now Bender has a mother and a father, the same thing. Everybody's happy at the end, and then Zoidberg kisses Fry and makes some great kissing noises. But should we transition into the Worlds of Tomorrow update from there? Was there any? I mean, I liked it a lot. It was fun. I think if it came out every week, it would lose a novelty, but good times.
I would be okay if they came out with one like every like month, even maybe even less frequently.
Yeah.
Like if they did it again, I would be like, okay, that's cool. They would really have to spread them out because it really relies on visual gags often for it to be a good episode.
And they did kind of blow their wad with a lot of the, like, you get the rake effect where you do something so long it becomes funny, unfunny, funny again. Like they could do the grease stairs again, but they would have to do it a lot for it to come back around. I think if they did that again in the next episode, it would be kind of like already.
And they're like the references of like current culture stuff going on.
Yeah.
Is a little bit less funny and more sad than like back when the show was actually on too. Because some of the jokes is just like, oh yeah.
Like, all of Fry's references need to be from the 90s though, and that's like the weird part is that they're kind of stuck only being able to make 80s and 90s jokes.
But some of them relate.
Are the characters
back to,
aging? Like, are they still in the year? Was it 3000 and whatever?
I think they said it was 3001.
Yeah.
Bender's fake news joke, though, like that was like one of the things that I was just like, that's.
What did he say there? That's fake news.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
about the worst actor.
Oh, where they said he was the worst actor.
Yeah.
There was a line right around there. Where Bender yells at Zoidberg. Zoidberg pipes in about something, and Bender goes, "Shut up, you! I'm not done talking." He goes, and then he says like one more word.
Yeah.
Just like
now I'm done.
Yeah, now I'm done. just I loved it. The abuse. What did you think about the actual voices?
Consistent, surprisingly. They sound a little older, but not bad.
Some of Billy West's voices were a little off from from watching like the older stuff, but at the same time, I think even the newer episodes that came out, like there's a little bit of difference.
Like it just changed.
It's
over
just
time.
you're not watching, like you're only listening to it. I think that's how you notice it more than if you're like watching the character.
For sure.
And so I think that's part of it. Because even John DiMaggio, it was like Bender is just like you're just listening to him do the voice, so you're making your own like picture. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was all like Maurice LaMarche did awesome with all his stuff. I think David Herman was even in there.
Yeah, he was just did Scruffy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. Though listening to Katie Seagal do Leela without actually like it being on TV was a little bit much. I don't know about her. Like certain things hit me the wrong way with her. Oh, even though I love Leela.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Like what?
I don't know.
Tom hates Katie Seagal.
I do
love
not. You know why I hate Katie Seagal? Because of Gemma from
Sons of
From
Anarchy.
Ever
of
Since of
Anarchy.
That. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a fair point.
I'm just thinking back to like certain things that I thought of as I'm listening to it, because it was more of like, oh, this is weird because a lot of the stuff in Futurama I like is like the visual stuff, and how are they going to play that out just in audio?
I think it worked well.
I did too.
Successful.
Yes, great success. How's everybody doing on Worlds of Tomorrow?
Oh yeah, let's do a quick update on there.
Pretty good.
Here's my thing is that I didn't want to play it and then I wanted to play after you guys showed me that you can do your head in the jar. And so I played it. I was like, I'm going to play it up to get there. And that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. And I actually started coming up with a strategy. And then I was like, I was getting there. And then Chris Hardwick came out and you could get that. So I actually spent money to get pizzas.
I missed out on
so
Chris
I could get
Hardwick's
Chris
head.
Hardwick. And then now I have like strategy. I make sure like certain times during the day that I make them all do something. And right now I'm just waiting to get Earl so I can finish. I've completed 100% on all the space missions
that you have
I'm until I get to Earl.
So so Earl, I think you need Earl to do Moon stuff, or is it Tropic
it's
Nine?
on Moon. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had just
what level are you now?
12, almost 13.
Okay.
I'm a little smidge away from being level 40.
Cool. So they unlocked a new thing, so you were
Yes.
able to.
They finally opened up the next. That was the entertainment district where you actually unlock. Is it Amazonia?
Yes.
Amazonia, and this one's. I'm challenged now because the first mission on that planet is no planet for old men. I'm about
You need to be
halfway
21.
through that. Yeah, I just was able to. I did a bunch of easy peasy ones to get more career chips because I'm all out of career chips. But I had to.
What's your strategy for that? Because I'm literally in the same boat right now.
You can go back through a mission
Yeah.
and get more.
But which ones are you going through to bank up like a lot?
Depends on who I'm specifically going to, or who I'm looking to level up.
Here,
Like for the Leela one, I just went back to find individual missions. It shows you what the rewards are.
So you just
I
look for the captain
ones.
chips?
Yeah, I looked for the ones that had captain chips or just like a shit ton of the regular career chips.
Okay. Because I have just gotten Leela. I just started Amazonia. I think.
What's your level?
33. Because really, what happens when you get to a certain point, like, I think I level up almost every other day because just by collecting, you get so many experience points. Like, there's so many properties and shit in here now that it's just like.
So right now I'm stuck because I need to unlock La Barbara, and that always takes forever when you have to unlock a character. But I'm working to unlock La Barbara.
How many pizzas do you guys each have?
Right now I have 26.
6.
I have 50.
Well, yeah.
The most I've ever had at one time was probably about 130, and then I'll usually end up like burning them off to buy last minute fuel or healing.
Using the fuel.
I think I had like 76 at one point. That was just straight from 100%ing missions. And watching advertisements.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I get a lot of them. Except I spent some dollars to get them.
What I thought was interesting is the next character to unlock is HG Blob, not Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Still not in there.
Still can't get Zoidberg.
So, Entertainment District got opened, which freed up Leela finally. But I'd have to get over there and then come down and get HG Blob, and then Zoidberg's like the last one back here.
Oh, wow. Until they create even more.
Right.
And once I unlock
because Zap Brannigan isn't even involved in that yet.
Well, I think
he's a person, but they haven't unlocked it.
You have to buy a building, unlock him. So once I unlock La Barbara, then I have to make an Amazonian Amy outfit, which also takes forever.
And just that first
I just made
mission.
the nightlife one.
Yeah.
I'm way far.
Yeah, I just got Cowboy Kiff. That was the last one I got. But the Amy, not only do you have to unlock the Amazonian Amy, you have to get her up to a level 21 to just finish the first thing in Amazonia. That's some straight up bullshit.
I'm trying to bank up those career chips somehow. I think you can buy them with pizza, but
I still haven't spent any money, and I've missed out on Chris Hardwick. I missed out on Bill Nye. I almost had the Borax Kid. I was close to having him. I've got who all do you have character wise?
I got George Takei.
Oh,
I got him pretty close toward the end of that event.
Is he a captain or an influencer?
He's a captain.
Okay.
George Takei. I have Bender's mom. I didn't get Flexo. Missed out on getting Flexo.
Missed out on Flexo too.
I tried, but that was one where you had to spend money, I think. I have Malfunctioning Eddie, Hattie McDougal.
Yep.
Scruffy, Leela, or
Hedonism
like all the
Bot.
ones that have hedonism, but all the ones that you kind of have to unlock throughout the course of the game to
Like
unlock
Pharaoh
stuff.
Bender and Gold Bender.
But I got Boxy, but I did not get
too.
what's her name? The female robot.
Oh shoot.
What was her name?
I know what you're talking about. I was just looking at that.
I placed her building, and then the event that had her was over like an hour later, so I didn't even have a chance to try to unlock her. But I wish I'd been able to.
Did you get Flexo?
Did not get
No.
Flexo.
You know, and La Barbara's building costs like $90,000.
Oh, but see, that wasn't a problem for me because I had been stuck for so long, unable to unlock more, that I was just collecting income from all these buildings that I have jammed together, and I had like $130,000 to spend on buildings. So, yeah, La Barbara's building is really expensive, but I still have like $79,000.
Have you tried to get HG Blob yet?
I can't. I am out of Hypnotons. I need like 100 more Hypnotons to unlock the piece that is next to the one that you can unlock to get him.
I'm gonna start it off right now. Look at that.
See, I went too
Okay.
far. I went too far over to the right because I was like, oh, I have got like 5,000. Boop boop. But that was dumb.
Oh wait, that's some bullshit.
Do you guys actually read the stuff that goes on?
Like the storyline?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
storylines.
A little bit. I mean, I glanced through it because it does give you some clues. I think one of the things that really bugs me about the game is when you're in the space missions and it's like pick a character and they don't tell you like there's certain actions that can only be unlocked by certain characters or characters at a certain level. So like you need to have an influencer of 18 to be able to go in here. And that kind of stuff drives me nuts.
I usually pick like one of each.
Well,
like,
no, you could only,
group.
but like this is within the missions. So you pick your
which
crew.
Oh yeah.
And then you go in and you get to the green dots instead of the fighting
Yeah.
dots.
Okay. Yes. yes.
Where it's like there's a conversation with some other third party. And then it'll be like there's a
Yeah, that is
76% thing. But if you're a captain, you can go, and they don't. I mean, I guess the thing is, well, you can come back and do it. But like there's like a 24-hour gap between me playing those parts.
Yeah.
The one that was annoying for me was when you're in the sewers and you have to collect Raoul the mutant's underwear for Violet, and then also his toenail, I think it was.
And his
because
hair.
you have to go through, the hair too. You have to go through so many times and like replay the same branches of the missions, and once you 100% it, and then you realize like, I could get more XP or whatever by going through it one more time, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Some of the fighting missions kind of get boring because you're just tapping and then.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way you could turn off the sound for the power ups or whatever, the critical.
I just mute the whole thing. I don't ever listen. I like that when you were playing it, when we did the last bonus episode about the game, and you're like, I didn't even realize that was going on. Like in the background.
And then
I turned that off
during the
but-
background of the actual like main map is like the Futurama theme song.
Oh yeah. That's probably why I muted it in the first place because I just can't. I can't.
Pete hates Futurama.
I fucking hate this show.
I don't want this to become a spite play game, but like I still enjoy it, but there are the parts that are frustrating. Like
I wonder what it's made money wise. Like I wonder how many people.
well, the last mission in the sewers where you had to fight Chupa Libre. Like
that one was hard. That one had me stuck for a minute.
those mutant squids are rough, and like basically what it comes down to is you have to get everyone in your crew at a higher level than the average level, and then their hit points and their defense will overwhelm the bad guys. But until you do that, or if you got people that are lower, they just get pummeled.
Yeah.
It's no good.
My highest guy's at 10.
Really? You got some work to do.
I'm
Tom.
far behind.
Yes. That just means you can enjoy it longer.
Yeah. Or just give up.
I'll just quit.
Like we will with this podcast someday. Should we call it a night?
Yeah, let's call it a
Yep.
night.
Hey, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a regular episode.
Bye.